3, 2, 1. Internet, welcome to 2015. This is an Under the Weather Justin Freed doing our first in 30 vanilla of 2015, right, Hein Time?
I don't know what vanilla means, but sure.
Well, it's not in 30 education or...
Oh, yeah. So if you guys didn't know from last week, I mean, Christmas and New Year's both fell on Thursday. It's hard to plan around. A buddy of mine from Canada and I want to do an educational podcast. So I don't know how often we're going to do it. We're going to try to do it once a month.
It's a podcast on education.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah. It's a podcast on education, and we're hoping to do it more frequently, but we're trying to shoot for once a month. We'll see how it works out. Take a listen. Tell us what you think.
Okay, so thank you for derailing my Under the Weather introduction, Heim Time. But that being said, that was Heim Cohen of HeimTime.com. I'm Justin Freed of JustinFreed.com. Paul N. Shapiro of SearchWilderness.com. He's engaged now. Is he still gallivanting around Europe?
No, they came back. Yes, he is engaged to my sister, but I wish them well. So I don't know where the wedding is or when it is or anything about that, but
they didn't get married in Europe, and they're now like towing everyone along. They're just engaged, right?
They're just engaged, yes.
Okay, so he's your fiancé-in-law or something. I don't know what he is.
I think he called it bunkle, so it's a boyfriend that's an uncle, well, to the baby, but yes.
Okay, so something like that. Okay, so Paul is not with us. Heim and I are going to cover CES 2015 from our perspectives, meaning that we are going to go through The Verge and Engadget and CNET, and even the Wall Street Journal gets in on it and pick their coverage apart to tell you what we think is the most important. And because we didn't do a holiday gift guide this year, maybe we should just beg our listeners to buy us one item from CES.
Well, can I get the 110-inch 8K TV?
No, you cannot pick the thing that is surrounded by 8 booth babes that will never actually make it out of a factory except for another CES. You have to pick something that Amazon could potentially use a flying drone to deliver to your door, and is under $2,000. Okay, can you handle that, Heim Time?
I guess.
Okay. So CES this year, my overall impression, I didn't see as many clunkers. I haven't been, or the tech press at large hasn't been trolling the bottom of the CES barrel. But I remember last year I would say every other thing I would see, I'd say, really? That's a piece of crap. What the hell is that? This year I'm like, oh, okay. These things are shipping in February potentially. All right, that's pretty cool. I mean, what's your impression so far?
Look, I to be honest, I haven't seen all that much coverage. I know it's there. I've been looking for it, but I haven't seen anything that's like, really, they made some USB key that will, like, dance and do all these weird things. So I guess I agree with you. I haven't seen too many, like, bad things.
Okay, well, okay. So CES is well on its way. I can't see. This is why Apple always wins, or maybe it's just in this podcast. But the Apple Watch is still on everyone's minds. But wearables, of course, are huge. Let me tell you this, Heim Time. Your Android-powered wearables, they're looking a little better. LG, I don't know who they hired, if they picked up someone from Tag Heuer or some other Swiss watch company, but some of the Android wearables for like $200, $300, I said to myself, you know what, just as like a watch, it looks kind of neat, And
well, the key there was I just lost the train of thought. So now the new thing is, and this may dovetail, but the Swiss makers are starting to sue for copyright infringement over the face panels, which go back to what I said, I don't know, a year and a half ago, where I said I want to change my watch at will, and now that the watch faces are easily changeable, looking at a smartwatch becomes more and more something I'm starting to think about.
So it's over the past couple of CESs, wearables have been coming into vogue. Certainly, it's taken a while, and it seems like it's still an early adopter thing, but it's not the earliest of early adopters, and it's taken 3 years. I mean, 4 years, product-wise, not development-wise. It's obviously been a lot longer than that, but just this crop of watches. You see more metal. They're smaller overall, and frankly, I like the look of them better I can't even give you let me get a model number while I'm talking. But LG in particular, the one that was used to summon the self-driving Audi, I thought it looked better than the Apple Watch. It was
The LG R. It's the round face.
so that looks better, I think, than the Apple Watch, frankly.
Well, the
And
question is, are you a square guy or are you a circle guy?
I mean, I'm certainly not square in a
Well,
lot of.
that's the issue. Did you have the calculator watch or did you always have a round face watch?
I'm not a watch guy. I'm not a watch guy. I can tell you my Fitbit force to charge HR story maybe on another show. I'm okay with that. That's a rectangle, right? I mean, because it's a strip around my wrist. I'm okay with that. It's like my rubber band. But as a watch goes, a watch should be a circle. I really.
I mean, that's what people are saying. It should be a circle, and so the two circles are the LG R watch and the Moto 360, which I'm starting to like. That $250 price point isn't outrageous.
So with the Moto 360, there haven't been any. Google didn't really. There's not a lot of hardware. There's not a Chromecast 2 at this CES. Obviously, they're going to save that for their own types of events. But does the LG R have that same gap problem with the black area so that the LCD doesn't take up the entire circle, or is it a flush around the edges?
The LG R watch has a very thicker bezel than the 360, and that's where they hide all the stuff.
Okay, so but the screen itself is a pure circle.
It's a pure circle, yes.
I think I would take that. So anyway, so that's one thing that jumped out at me, and it's showing, I guess, that there's money being put into wearables. Any other wearables that you've seen at CES this year that kind of grabbed you?
Was there some sort of belt that did something weird?
I did not see a belt, but
I would like a belt that does something.
You know what?
Because I wear a belt all the time. Why can't it do? I don't know what I want it to do, but why can't it do something?
I can see a belt with a like a charger cable built into it, or like in the inside that you can kind of pull out. That is completely unobtrusive. Something like that. Or alternatively, I could see a battery. A backup battery being put in a belt, and so that you can actually like twist the belt around a little bit and then charge a phone while it's in your pocket or something. I don't know. And now
what about a speaker? Would you have a speaker in your belt so as you're walking you can hear music coming from your crotch?
That's exactly what a high school teacher needs, huh? That's what.
Well, no, I'm just saying. Literally, all men wear belts to the point that they don't tax it. Because it's a clothing accessory. So I'm not being outrageous here to say I want that belt buckle maybe to do something. Why not? It's there.
There's something called Belty that is going to make losing weight a cinch, and it knows when you're getting fat. I think that's the only. I don't know how it works. I've thought for a while that it's not a bad idea to put a waist measuring ruler inside a belt. Maybe it does that. I don't know if it's connected. But while we're on the subject, why don't we just have a pair of smart suspenders, Chaim? That when you snap them, they I don't know, they play a tune for you or something.
Well, okay.
The wearables, it seems like there is progress. And if we go back to the LG for a second, is it the case with the LG R that it also has cellular service built in, so it doesn't require a companion device?
I don't know about that, but the Sony watch, which is sort of on the pricey side for what it is, has GPS built in. So if you're running, you don't actually need what's it called? You don't actually need the phone with you, which I can see. Imagine you taking your iPhone 6 Plus in your one hand, in your one pocket while running, and your iWatch in the other, just to GPS the location.
The Fitbit Surge also, for instance, and has GPS built in, and lots of the Garmin sports watches do. So that's kind of, that's par for the course by now. That's okay. All right, so let's. To me, they're kind of akin because they're new markets, but they're places that we touch all the time. We're always touching our wrists. We're always touching our belts, I guess. But it just comes to mind is connected home devices, and it seems that it's more than the Internet of Things, which can just be kind of onerous. It's of course big at CES. What has struck me is that the hardware for Nest has not changed in any significant way, right? I mean, a lot of these smart locks, they're really not. We've been hearing about them for ages. They're just coming to the fore. They're just kind of shipping, and they're just starting to get integrated with the rest of your digital life, right? They're not these standalone.
You're furthest ahead on integrating your house or your apartment, but I started thinking about it. And look, I live in a safe area. I don't want to necessarily turn on lights all the time. You can't turn on the air conditioners with let's say a Wemo. So I don't have a use for any of these connected devices.
There are tons. There are a ton. I mean, in your house, for instance, I know you don't have central air, right? You have windows.
No, yeah, correct.
So there are tons of devices that repurpose the IR functionality of your air conditioner, or they don't the same purpose, but they take over the IR functionality and they let you control your air conditioner from the internet. The point is that these things, and they're going to for a really long time, take a lot of work in the setup, and not only work just like configuring a router, but work thinking about they're looking for a problem to solve. So I think this is a 5 or 10-year-old thing where the average mom uses it and it's built into a home. Where an apartment complex with 50 units, all of the units have at least one bit of the technology built in. Something like that. We're getting there. The underpinning is happening, and there are. Look, I can go down this. There are tons of smart locks. There are tons of smart light controls and smart lights themselves, right?
Well, yeah. What I'm hearing about the locks is that they're not that good. First off, which I mean, not that, like I said, not that I really care, but I don't see people like flocking to them. And this may be because I have a child now, so I have to start like thinking a little more conservatively. But it feels like, okay.
So for me, the lights are not such a big deal, but the locks are actually pretty huge for two reasons. One, my clients have a billion. I have a lot of clients, and my clients have lots of offices. So not so long, and I keep a key ring in my car that I've labeled pretty well. And not so long ago, one of my clients had to fire someone that worked at one of their offices, and they changed all the keys, and poor Justin, who's not there that often, did not get a new key. Now, if they had a digital lock, I could have solved that problem myself. It would have been hard to kick me out if they wanted to kick me out, but I could have just gotten in really easily. And further, just like, going to my mom's house if I'm going to go, if she's, on vacation to walk her dog or something. Do I really need her key? I mean, the lock thing makes a lot of sense to me.
I would like a way what I would like is some sort of way to allow certain people in. So you get a new contractor, they need access to your house, so you can say, here's your one-time access. Give me the name of your phone, or give me the MAC address, or give me something, and I can not beam you, but I can transfer to you via the Internet of Things.
We all try to accomplish that in different ways, and if you have control over the lock and it's addressable via your home Wi-Fi, you can tell the contractor, tell me when you're there, and unlock it for him. So you can do that, and then if you're going to take it to that level, you're probably going to have a camera in your house already. Like, that's there, Heim. So that's there. Perhaps the biggest one is by Schlage, the Schlage Sense Smart Lock, and it allows Siri voice commands. So Apple is like pushing this along a little bit, and one of the selling features is whether or not it integrates with Siri. Okay, I mean the smart home. The other thing that I think is interesting is the importance that's placed on retrofitting existing devices instead of installing new ones. So there are a couple of things that have, there have been endeavors to this before, where you just literally you put a battery in it and then you put it over your light switch. It physically moves the light switch, and you can control that physical motion via Wi-Fi, and of course press the button on the outside of it, and then you don't have to do anything. You just have to keep batteries in the thing. And the same goes with locks. If you have a bolt lock, you can put a device over the bolt lock that then manually turns it to give you the addressable, the digital functionality on that lock. So that type of stuff is kind of cool. I mean, especially if you're renting somewhere. So we're seeing that at CES. The question is, these things, we're going to talk about them. They'll show up on like the Today Show. How do they go from CES into people's homes? I mean, is it because they see it on a TV show or something? I don't even know what the marketing.
Well, look, we're not. This Consumer Electronics Show is just supposed to be a vendor show for other vendors. I mean, that's what I always hear, and everyone caveats that. This is what we'll think will come out, this and that. They're not supposed to be enthusiasts are not supposed to go like you and me to say, "Ooh, I wonder what's coming out in a month or two." So I think that they're trying to see what buzz they can get, and I think they know it's vaporware dead on arrival before they show it off, and they sometimes show it off just to obviously get
You're right.
people intrigued to say, "Oh, that company that did that."
That's absolutely true. And
Yeah.
it just strikes me that this year, and going back to what I said earlier, that things are shipping, there is less vaporware. It seems like there's like these things are maybe because there isn't a huge change from last year. The things are kind of like closer to coming out. Maybe it's been vapor for the last 3 years, and now it's like condensing a little bit into like.
Well, at some point, aren't you going to say like, I really don't like? Aren't you going to say at some point, oh, this company always puts out crap? You know what? I'm tired. Nothing will ever come out. I think at some point the companies have to say, we don't have the money or the R&D to put out something that's really not going to come out.
So
we should just stick to conservative topics and go from there.
So in addition to the home automation, which is a lot of like, first let's deal with the tweet that I sent to you an hour or so ago.
Yeah.
It does didn't I and I've been thinking about this, and I think I said it on the air. Not that I'm going to get tons of credit for this, or that I was the only person that said it, but it seems like the Apple TV is the brain that sits at home to make the iOS HomeKit API come to life, right? I mean that's what.
Well, they said it'll have a limited functionality. I didn't see it being the what's it called, the.
But in order for you to get remote control over your home devices, you have to have an Apple TV there. Now, technically speaking, that isn't a requirement if the devices can communicate with the cloud, and then their individual cloud components can talk to your iPhone over the cell network. But if you have an Apple TV, Apple has control over it not from the cloud level, but from the local level. So all the
why does it have to be an Apple TV? That's what I don't understand. Why can't it be some sort of program? Why can't it be an app, either on your from the App Store, so it can be on your computer?
But that's what I'm saying. Because when you leave, when you're on your home Wi-Fi, you can do it. But when you're not on your home, I guess it's for devices that aren't 100% Wi-Fi addressable. That they
okay.
So then when you leave your home Wi-Fi, if they use Bluetooth or if they, I don't know exactly how it works, but the Apple TV does kind of got to factor into it. Okay. Anyway, we've talked about wearables. We've talked about home automation some. It seems like connected cars are a little bit more prevalent this year than they.
Well, you have both what is it? What's the iOS thing, and then you have AutoKit or whatever it is, or Android Auto, and then AutoKit. Both Apple and Android again are going at it over the same type of idea.
So I mean, we saw a self-driving car from Audi. We saw a self-parking car from BMW. I can't imagine. It seems like those are really hard technical things to pull off. We've seen them to a lesser extent in I think Ford had a parallel parking car ages ago. But anyway, these are the things that we can look forward to. These are glimpses of what might become standard technology in the future. If we take it back to CES's roots, the audio-visual end of things, is it pretty boring? I mean, the curved TV thing, I think Vizio kind of lampooned Samsung on that. That's not happening. Where are we at video-wise?
Well, we saw the death of 3D. There are no more 3D TVs being sold. We're seeing I think we're just seeing 4K. We're seeing the death of the smart TV. I think Roku and all the sticks and everything have shown that Samsung, you know what, this may not be the right way. Right. I think smart TVs are there, but I think people are noticing that the best bang for your buck is some third-party device.
Exactly, and just making sure you have enough HDMI connectors to make use of them.
Yeah, just give us all the HDMI connectors that we need. Don't put one on there. Don't be stingy. They don't cost that much, and go from there. But. Okay.
So it seems like it's a more sensible CES all around, and we can see that really apparent in the video sphere, right? I mean, so that's really happening. And frankly, a 4K TV, it's good even as a computer monitor. It makes sense. I mean, it's fine. when technology gets there, everything will be 4K. It's bound to happen.
Well, what I'm afraid is that we're going to have the Blu-ray issue. So at this point currently, network TV does not offer 1080p. You get 720p, you get 1080i. Even Netflix, I mean, they don't have 1080p. They have Super H. They have their fake 1080p. Just because 1080p is still too hard to push down on most people. So when I see 4K, yes, but I don't know where is their 4K content.
Well, okay, I think that it is part of what's going on with the 4K is doing it right requires a good graphics backend, and it just implies higher quality overall. That all of the pixels and the whole process. I guess these are not thin film transistor displays anymore. They're all more advanced. They're better TVs is what it comes down to. The backlighting is better. All of this stuff, it seems like it's just cheaper. It's become cheaper, and it's better across the board. You know, that's part of it. So the answer to where is the 4K content, it will come. It is kind of a Blu-ray thing, but you know, when you think of it from that perspective, where the hell is broadband going in the United States, right?
Well, we saw today that somebody's requiring high-speed broadband to be at least 25 megabits down.
Yes, that is
which is a good thing.
Yes, so maybe that will make 4K more likely to come about. But the fact is that Microsoft and Google and Amazon and Netflix, and I say Microsoft because they have the Xbox thing and they're pushing forward with delivering video. They're going to get us 4K content before Comcast does. You know, right? I mean, that's definitely going to happen. And let's the video's younger brother, maybe we can call it, audio. First, you saw what? Let's talk about what Google announced.
Oh yeah, the basically the Google AirPlay type thing competitor, the Chromecast for audio inside the speakers.
Exactly. So there are devices that support AirPlay or will support AirPlay and will support the Google system. But Google here is making kind of a wacky claim to me, which is that the audio content is going to sound better because it's coming from the cloud. I mean, and also they say that it will free up your device, which makes sense. I mean, because your device doesn't have to constantly be streaming the sound. But I don't know. It seems like it's weird that they did video first. But what do you make of this?
I haven't been happy with anything basically in the cloud as far as streaming. Whether it's the Fire Stick, the music, or the Roku box, or the Chromecast, or anything in the cloud specifically. Going there's always a hiccup. And I have faster broadband than most people. So for me, I much rather a local music on a local device. I like Bluetooth. So I do kind of want these things to say, you know what, I can beam it from my phone, and I can have my friends beam it with like the guest mode, but I don't want to go into the cloud. It's like, where is it going to get the data when you're sitting on the beach?
Okay, and I guess, well, you know, just for the record though, I used iTunes Match, believe it or not. I've used it for 2 years now, and it works very well. I'm sometimes surprised, and it's pretty high quality. I think it pushes down at like 256 kbps in Apple's whatever proprietary for, or AAC, which is not proprietary anymore. That being said, Google is now everywhere. Everywhere digital content is, you can stream anything. The Chromecast has been really successful. It seems like and you know what, I got 2 really pretty good movies from them for free over the holidays. They gave everyone that did something, I guess, Lord of the Rings 1, right?
Yeah.
And then I also got X-Men 1, I think because I had a Chromecast or something. And I've just been playing around with the Google Play Store, and I've been very happy with it. And, you know, and the fact that they can do video so well, I'm going to maybe give them a go on audio.
Well, there's nothing wrong with the audio, but every once in a while you get the missed packet and you get a hiccup where it has to buffer for a second, which is not a big deal. I mean, when I'm driving down the turnpike and it's buffering, you know what? I'm okay with it because it's hard to get data going 70 miles an hour.
It's interesting that you say that, Han, because I don't use my radio in my car at all. I listen to WN. I use my iPhone 100% of the time. Okay.
Well, I use my satellite radio unless I'm getting really pissed off that the
Let me
music
say
is
this
not
about
there.
let me say this about AT&T. Siri is the problem in this equation. Siri is stupid, and half the time, even if it understands what words I'm saying, I have to manually go into the music app to play WNYC for some reason. It literally I say play WNYC radio. It'll register it. I'll hear the sound, and then I still do. Anyway, AT&T never hiccup. I mean, I'm getting too used to this, and I'm not hitting my data cap or anything. I stream iTunes Match, and so that works. That works. So uh, maybe I should backtrack on criticizing Google's claim that the music coming from the cloud is not better. Because I'm proving it the opposite to myself all the time. I just don't know quality-wise. Driving a huge stereo with it.
Well, look, it's no, the quality is fine. It's I recently got the 3-month trial of All Access, so the songs integration is pretty good. Where I could figure out what day, like what's your mood today, and it's bad at figuring out your mood, but it's good at choosing some of the songs that you want to play. So they have like the morning drive to work, and you have relaxing music or heavy metal music, whatever you want, and the radio stations are pretty good.
Okay, all right. So
So,
as far as audio goes at CES this year, I mean, audio is just kind of like, I mean, audio, it just has to I mean, it has to work, right? I mean, we are like, I don't know. Are people over speakers? What do we even? What is
well,
it?
apparently it's. I don't think quality is the issue. I mean, remember we're still listening to it on our white earbuds, or we're listening to it on the bass heavy beats. But I don't think that the majority of people care about quality because remember we're listening to it on YouTube, and like I said, so you have that. So I think it's being able to get the music that you want right away is more important than the quality. So that's why people are going to Spotify or RDO or iTunes Radio or Google Play, whatever it is, as long as they can get the music. And I think that the idea of renting music just took off over buying music.
I think yes, renting and streaming music, it does kind of went out. So are we missing any more categories, CES wise?
I mean, big TVs, everything's bigger, faster, stronger. Intel released their their new chip, their 14 nanometer chip. So that means you're going to see Apple tout 30% bigger battery life, better battery life in about 5 months.
Where are we on time? We've got to be almost. And there is one product that I was very impressed by.
We have 2.5 minutes.
So I saw this new laptop from Dell, where the screen in Sharp had both displays that could be kind of wacky shapes and also were edge to edge. And Dell built a laptop, a 13-inch laptop, basically without a bezel, effectively without a bezel, and shrunk the size of it so that the keyboard went right up to the edge of it, and it is a great-looking machine. That is the thing that I want our philanthropic listeners to give me one of those. The new XPS 13 from Dell. I'm just impressed that Dell is still making stuff and making something that looked like that. It was great. They beat Apple form factor wise, even if they're maybe they will or will not material wise, but the thing looked great. Laptops can still be cool, I guess.
Well, I saw that today, that laptops are coming back to the laptop. So maybe in closing, I think a lot of the CES is based on going back to basics. So making a laptop that's a laptop, making a TV that's a TV, making speakers that have very few bells and whistles other than play good music.
Okay. All right. So this is a back to basics CES. All right. This has been the first episode of In 30 in 2015, I think, anyway. Thanks for listening.
Okay, bye, everybody.